Yeah, I should win just because you had the Timberwolves in the 8th seed.
Vasilevsky's been playing really well, and the Lightning have a great offense.
Yeah, it was a tremendous shot, and I've come to expect it from LeBron. I would say I wish the best for the Red Sox, but as a Yankees fan, that's really hard for me to do.
The biggest addition to me is Jalen Brunson.
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and that's all I have to say. He's still a top 5 quarterback in this league, and there's nothing really anyone can do about it.
Why'd you have to name him? Like, seriously? Like, thanks, man.
Who would have thought 5 years ago that the Clippers and Nets would be facing in the finals?
How is Joe Burrow going to get the ball to them if his butt is already on the ground?
Crazy. And for the fans at home,
Hello, I'm Cy Mendenhall, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. We're just going to talk about some news. There's been injuries. There's been running back rumors. And the man that's been on the case for Dalvin Cook, Austin. Because the more I think about it, he's an interesting player. Or interesting dilemma right now.
Yeah, it is. And he hasn't – I don't get the hate. I don't know why he was released, and I think him to the Jets, if that is what turns out to be, is extremely, extremely positive for them.
Yeah, I think we're at a unique point right now because we have my running back belief. I think teams are just scared to give him a multi-year contract. So I do think the Jets would be a good move for him. To where he can up his value and maybe a team gives him. I think teams are offering him contracts.
No, they're definitely not offering him anything close to what he's worth.
Yeah, I think he's looking for a long-term deal, maybe 2 years.
This is the problem with NFL and every league, is that we're on this side before where running backs are the most valuable position in the league for a while.
Yeah,
because in the 80s, to the point where now they're not even valued at all, and it needs to be somewhere in the middle. And
exactly.
I obviously believe a lot more in the running back. And the thing is that there's not many good teams out there that don't have any quality running game. So a guy that can do it by himself. Again, I've said it before about Kirk Cousins. I'll say it about Dalvin Cook. The Vikings don't have a good O-line. So him being as proficient as he has been is in spite of his offensive line, not because of it. So it again shows, I think, the versatility that he has as a runner.
Yeah, I want to think. I think it's just the ebbs of flows. I think running backs are so valuable, and now they're kind of devalued. But I think we could see running games go just because how defenses are getting smaller, so the running big game can capitalize more. If you get what I'm saying, running backs will get more yards. Into where it switches to where they focus more on the run.
And the problem with a lot of teams saying, "Oh, we'll just have a work," or we're not going to have a workhorse. We'll just have a committee. Those extra guys take roster spots. If you're going to have 3 primary running backs, which teams have done before, we saw that with the Chiefs last year between Edwards-Helaire, Jerick McKinnon, and Pacheco. All 3 of those guys getting touches. All 3 of those guys are taking a roster spot, in a roster spot that matters. A lot of teams just need 2. And that's only because they'll run their first guy the majority of the game, and okay, you need a break. We have this other guy, but other committees are just running a lot of running backs that aren't all the same quality and can't all do the same thing. Jerick McKinnon is not a great runner. He's a great pass catching guy out of the back, compared to Pacheco, who's a much better running back.
Yeah. So, and there are other. I think Zeke can be valuable. It's just he wasn't valuable given his payment on the Cowboys.
Yeah, people seem to think that, I've told this before, Zeke is a top 3 blocking running back. And so
there, yes.
People hated on him, I think, way too much because of his deal. He is still an NFL caliber player.
I feel he'd be a great red zone running back. Like, I feel if he goes to the Patriots, we can talk about fantasy. I feel he'd be, when he get to the goal line, I would trust putting him in there.
I could be trusting putting him in there in a lot of different circumstances. The problem is I don't think the Cowboys necessarily utilized him in the best way, and partially that's because of how many injuries have happened around him, whether it be to the O line or to wide receivers or to Dak himself. So it definitely is kind of grinding him down, but I do think that he is still valuable as a runner.
Yeah, I think he just may be wanting more, and teams aren't willing to offer him that. And there are also Jarvis Landry's still a free agent, which is surprising to me.
Yeah, I I'm not completely shocked because he did struggle last year. He only had 272 yards and one touchdown, but I do think
Okay.
his pass should lead him to a contract. We'll just have to see if that's the case.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what happens. Maybe with the injuries that comes up, and then, or actually, let's go back to the running back conversation. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is seeing what's happening, and I think he's making a good business decision move. Like Zeke made a good business decision move holding out for the Cowboys when he did. And I think same thing with Jonathan Taylor. So he may be able to leverage himself into a deal from the Colts.
True. I do
Or
think that
yeah,
it's a good decision by him.
yeah. So it's just what will teams offer, and even if he's on the trade market, I think there could be something, and maybe he tries to work out a deal there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So do you think he gets traded, Jonathan Taylor?
It's just what is he worth? Because here's the problem, and this is where I think teams will get very hypocritical. They don't want to trade Jonathan Taylor because of his value, but they won't give him a contract because of his value in the future. It's really
Yeah.
confusing. Like, I won't trade him. He's too good. Okay, then pay him. No, I don't want to pay him. He's not good enough in the future.
Yeah.
It's very hypocritical. I think teams are becoming very hypocritical about the running back position.
Yeah, I'm very curious on how this. It seems kind of the pinnacle right now with running backs, and where do we go from here? I think Jonathan Taylor ends up getting a new deal from the Colts. I think that's how this situation ends.
I think that would be the hope for a lot of Colts fans, but I don't necessarily know if that happens.
Because I don't know what I would offer in a trade. What would you offer? I don't want to give up a first.
Again, that's the hypocriticalness of
Yeah,
it. That's why I said, like, is he not worth a first after running for 1,800 yards?
yeah.
I don't know.
I know that's. I don't know. But yeah. So that's kind of the running back dilemma. Most of the running back news. Then injuries, they seem more prevalent, or it seems a lot to do with calf. Then Ramsey got a meniscus tear. I don't know what else. Are there any other injuries that stick out to you?
Um, Not necessarily more than others. It's just people got to. I do feel like we're being a little bit more cautious. People would play through injuries before in training camp because it's not that big of a deal, but also maybe because of uh, how teams are training, that now they're going a lot harder because Joe Burrow injury looks like he's trying to escape the pocket extremely explosively, which I don't know if you need to be doing that in training camp. I mean, that just may be me, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think it kind of does come down to training, just because the NFLPA, I believe, has tried to go for less training camp, less pads, less stuff on, which I understand, but I feel there should just be a couple days team wise where you're not depending on the players to do some fitness. Because I think it's just they're not properly warmed up.
Maybe there definitely needs to be a look into how can we stop these injuries.
Yeah, how can you appease the players for not having them to play, do too many games or too much training camp, but also from a player safety standpoint? Because I feel they just need to get in shape a little bit more as a team.
Yeah,
Um, but that could play into some of the free agents we're talking about getting signed.
yeah. I I'm very interested because contract disputes are very common occurrence. I mean, we saw it last year with OBJ holding out the entire year after getting some apparently some offers. So I don't really know. It's definitely going to change the landscape of the NFL, how these contract disputes or how when players sign or whatever, because it is kind of changing how we think about how you go into an off season.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And then speaking of contracts, we've seen Herbert, Diggs get some big extensions. What do you think?
Um, hmm. I like the Trayvon uh, extension. I do think the year where he had all the picks, which I think was 2 years ago, I didn't think he was all that great of a corner. But last year, he really grew into becoming a lockdown corner. He had.
And I think, or
Oh, you go.
my
You
bad.
go.
Yeah, I keep interrupting, but yeah, I thought he was gonna be number one, but I'm glad you say you like it. I like he's in the top five. I get it. I know PFFF doesn't really grade him well, but I think Trevon Diggs is kind of a ball hawk where he tries to bait quarterbacks, which can burn him sometimes. But I think he's really gonna have a great year because look who's on the other side of him.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephon Gilmore, I think, is going to really help him because to me, Stephon Gilmore is a true. Well, he was. I don't know how he is now, but I feel still he's a good defensive back and he doesn't take too many chances.
Yeah, Stephon struggled last year in the past. Uh, Last year he struggled, but the year before that with Carolina, he was a Pro Bowler, and the year before that, obviously, he was as well. But he got hurt with Carolina after having a Pro Bowl start. He only played 8 games, and it kind of made you think, well, should he have been a Pro Bowler? But again, he had a great first half. But back to Trayvon, like I was saying before, he only had 3 picks last year after having 11 in 2021, and it approximate value gives him 15 approximate value uh, in 2021. But I can almost guarantee you, Trayvon was better last year when he only had a 9 approximate value. He just looked like he would actually play the ball less and go for what he needed to. Before he was trying to play the ball, trying to catch the ball. Now he's more denying the pass. And when he does that, he is a lockdown corner.
Yeah, I agree. He was better than he was a year before last year as a corner, and I think he's going to grow even more. But that's maybe I'm a little biased in hoping that, but I'm the Herbert deal is intriguing to me because the approximate value is around, I believe, 50 or
The
45.
AAV, the
AAV,
annual,
yeah,
yeah,
or yeah, the average value. And there's a no trade clause.
I
I don't
like
think
that.
there, yeah, I don't think there are many no trade clauses in the NFL. Correct? Or
There's some. It depends on the player, though. I mean, I know Rodgers had a no trade clause.
oh yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah, or I can't remember. I thought he was threatening retirement, but maybe that could be true. I can't remember. But I do like the deal because I think Herbert's going to have a great year this year.
I mean, I rated him extremely highly because I believe in his ability, and as long as the coaching and injuries don't harm it, I could definitely see him having an MVP caliber season.
Yeah, I think coaching. I think Kellen Moore is going to help him this year because Kellen Moore led stats with Dak, and I feel Herbert is much better than Dak at this point. I just feel he has better arm and just some great talent. So I think he's going to be very good. So where this deal, they're like, okay, some people may be comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, if there are any Chargers fans out there. But yeah. So okay, so you're both in favor of the deals.
I agree.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you on agreeing on the deals. So let's see how it turns out. I'm trying to think, is there any other news that's happening? But what is you've seen any other news or any news you want to talk about?
Nothing in particular.
All right, let us know what you think of this video. Let us know if we forgot something. We appreciate you listening. Follow us on our Instagram, OO_podcast20. We did an NFL Jeopardy video. Austin won that. I had some good moments, but also some bad moments. You could say I was like Trevon Diggs. Got some hits, got some misses. Let us know what you think, and make sure to check out that video. We appreciate it.